everyone, welcome back to the channel. So I'm going to do a little colouring chat today. It's going to be a quick one, probably only a half an hour long video. You will hear little voices in the background. Got 5 kids home now for the summer holidays, so they're all just playing in the room next door to me, so you might hear quite loud voices, but that's nothing to worry about. So I've decided I'm going to pull out Mouseguard book for this little colouring chat because it's the book that I sort of don't have to think too much about in the colouring pages, if that makes sense. So I've pulled out my Derwent Inktense pencils as well. And the page I've picked to do is this fish, this one here. So I'm going to pop him there. Oh, nearly spilled my hot drink then. Don't want to do that all over the page, do I? No, that would be a disaster. So I'm going to do this one with the Inktense. I think I'm going to go for your typical yellow and orange fish, and then all these little corally bits here, these leaves, I'm going to do in sort of aquas and blues. As always, when I use the Derwent Inktense pencils, I like to use them as a base, and then I allow it all to dry, and then I do go in with shading with my coloured pencils. It's just the way that I like to work with them. But with the Derwent Inktense, you can put your shading in whilst you're doing it. So sort of if I put sort of a light yellow all over the fish, and then I could put a bit of a darker orange just in some of the darker bits here, and then blend it. I might do that actually on the fish. I might do that on the fish. So I've just got some clean water here. I'm going to get all those yellow tones I've just been talking about out. So this is the one I want to go in with first. So this is Sun Yellow, I believe. Sun Yellow. I'm just going to go all over this little guy with the Sun Yellow for now. Just a light covering, I think. But yeah, what have I been up to this week? Well, it's obviously been the last week of school for the kiddos, so they've had a few things going on. I did mention we went to an awards assembly for my son because he'd won an award, a certificate, but we didn't know what it was for. And it was for outstanding citizenship, which I'm super chuffed with. All my children get that award. All my children. The awards up for grabs are outstanding reader, writer, maths, sports, what's the other one? Behaviour. I think that's it. Reading, writing, maths, sports. Is that it? I'm probably missing one, but all my children get the Outstanding Citizenship Award, and that means that they're being a good friend. It means that if the friends got hurt or anything like that, they'll go and help them, or they'll go and get help. And I think I'm just so glad my kids are being recognised for the kindness and being a good friend, because I would much rather them be a good person than be academic but a horrible person, if that makes sense. So I'm super happy. So yeah, he got the Outstanding Citizenship Award, and he was so excited, bless him, because he didn't know we was going to be there. He didn't know we was getting a certificate, and he spotted us right at the end when he got up for the certificate. Oh, it was amazing. But it was so funny as well, because at the end of the assembly, because all the other classes come in and sit down in the assembly and watch. So there was a little boy, I think he might have been in year 6. Right, I'm going to activate this colour now actually. A little boy, I think he might have been in year 6. He turned round to all the parents and he just shouted, "Oi, it's her off Coronation Street. It's that new girl off Coronation Street." And then as he's getting up to leave, he goes, "Hey, can I have your autograph?" Now at this point I didn't want to turn around, because I thought, I'm not going to turn around and stare at someone, because bless her, if she is off Coronation Street, or even if she's not, like, everyone's going to turn around and stare, and I thought it's a bit rude. So I didn't turn around. I thought maybe he's just taking the mick, you know, being a bit silly, this boy. Anyway, so at the end of the assembly, parents whose child's won a certificate get to stay behind and take a picture of the child and just say, you know, go over to them and say well done and stuff. So we stopped behind and went and gave him a cuddle, and then I turned round, and I'm just, because everyone's mingling in the hall at this point, and I just turned and I saw this girl, and I thought, oh, it does look like her off Coronation Street. It really does. And anyway, I think she's the sister of somebody who's in my daughter's class. Because when I looked on, I'm a bit of a stalker. When I get something in my head, I'm like, was it really? Because you want to know, don't you? Like, is it just someone what looks like her, or was that actually her? So I typed into Google new girl from Coronation Street, and it did come up with an article saying that it basically said our town name. I'll not say our town name, but it basically said where I live. It said our town, and girl gets roll on Coronation Street, and I thought it was her then. It just tickled me, because I thought this boy was taking the mick. I really thought it was taking the mick. He's like, can I have your autograph? And I'm like, what's he on about? Because you don't expect someone like that being in a school assembly with you, do you? Yeah, but that's the base. Now for that one, I'm going to wait for that to completely dry. I'm not going to go in with any coloured pencils over the top of that, so it does just look a bit boring and bland at the minute. But this is just the way I like to work with Inktense. But on the fins, I am going to actually blend them. So on the fins, I'm going to do the yellow that I've just used. So the, where is it? Here, the sun yellow. I am going to go in with a very light layer over the top of all the fins. Really light layer, because I only want a bit of this showing through. I'm going to add some oranges into it. Yeah, so we had that assembly, and then the very last day is the day where they finish early. So they finish at 1:15, 2 o'clock-ish. And they have a toy day for that last day, so they're allowed to take a toy into school and just play with the toys. It's really cute. I wish I was back in school. I don't remember all these fun things at school. But yeah, so they all took some toys in. My son wanted to take his dump truck in, his Tonka dump truck, so I was carrying that in like, oh my days, lad. Could you have not picked anything a bit smaller? So yeah, he took that in. My daughter took some of her LOL dolls in. My other daughter took 2K chess board game in. I don't know whether to go in with a tangerine here. I think I'll use both actually. I've got tangerine and cadmium orange. I think I'll use tangerine right in the edge. So I've not activated this yet. So what you do if you want to blend colours, put them all down. Don't activate any of them to start with, unless you want to activate bit by bit. So you might want to activate one colour, allow it to totally dry, then go in with the next, and then activate it, allow it to totally dry, and work like that. But that would take forever. You can hear my children. That would take forever, and I'm not into that. I'm not about that. So I'll put a bit of this tangerine down at the darkest points. Maybe there. The kids' dad's off work next week. He's split his weeks off. So he's off next week, then he's back at work for a week or two, and then he's off for another week of the summer holidays. So it's sort of split up a little bit. So next week when he's off, we're going to book the, well, it's weather dependent. It has been raining, guys. It's the summer holidays, and honestly it's not stopped raining. It's horrible. I'm looking outside and thinking, is it actually summer holidays, or is it like Christmas? Because the kids are talking about Christmas as well, and I'm like looking outside thinking I could literally believe that it's Christmas. But anyway, yeah, so weather dependent. If it's really hot and sunny next week, we'll go to the beach. If the weather's still a bit grim, we're going to go to the Blue Planet Aquarium. We've not been to that one before, and it looks really cool. They've got like you can walk under this tunneled glass, and basically all the sharks are swimming above your head. You're like walking through a tunnel and all the sharks are like swimming above you. I think, oh, that's amazing. So, but it's so expensive. So expensive. It is a nice aquarium, so it will be worth it, but it's so expensive. I looked at the prices of the tickets, and for all of us, so with 5 children, and then there's obviously me and the dad, and this is with a free carer's place as well, because we get 1 free carer's place because I'm a registered carer. I get carer's allowance. I get 1 free carer's place. So for the 7 of us, with 1 free place, it's £100 to get into the aquarium. £100 for 1 day out. I've got 6 weeks summer holidays, guys. Oh my gosh. Right, now I'm going to go in with cadmium orange. But it's so expensive. I was saying to a friend, it's probably going to be cheaper next year if I just book a caravan. You know, a little caravan holiday. That's got to be cheaper than all these days out, which are £100 each. Just for just 1 day, because it's the same for the zoo. If we want to go to the zoo, it's £100 for that as well. So that's £200 just for 2 days out. And we've got 6 weeks to fill. 6 weeks. I mean, we don't do days out all the time. These are one-off things really, but it's nice to go somewhere, you know, rather than just stay in the garden the whole 6 weeks. But when it gets hotter, we can put the pool up in the garden and have some little pool days in the garden. But at the minute, like I said, it's throwing it down with rain. Can't have no pools up. Right, so that's where I want to be with that. So I'm going to activate it now. So when I activate these, if you're putting 2 colours together, I activate the light at the lightest point first. So if you go in at the yellow, it's a bit up there. If you go in at the yellow and then drag that down, rather than dragging all your dark colours into that, because you will lose your lightest shade if you drag the dark into the light. So drag your light into the dark. Wash your brush off if you can see it getting a bit patchy at the blending area. But it is quite nice to do it like that. On smaller areas, I find it's okay to do like that. But on this big, you know, on the body of the fish, I won't feel comfortable blending the colours like I have done there. So make sure all this darker colour's activated at the bottom. Oh, we've gone into that a bit, that's fine. I am going to put some darker oranges and things there. Clean my brush off, just get rid of that line there. And that's one thing done. So I'll just do the rest of them now. So what else have we been up to this week? Not much, to be honest. I just can't wait for my partner to be off next week, then we can actually get out the house. Because they're driving me insane in the house. All they do is fight in the house because they're obviously bored. It's boring in the house, isn't it? There's only so much you can do. But I have just bought ingredients for them to make jammy rock cakes. We'll do that later. They wanted to make jammy rock cakes again. So if nobody's familiar with them, they're like, I don't know what to call it. It's like, they're called cakes, but I think they're more like a bit like a cookie. Like, not with chocolate in though. They're like a, I don't know how to explain it. It's like a cookie, and then you like press your thumb into the centre to make a well in the dough, and then you put jam in. They're really, really yummy, actually. So yeah, I'm gonna make some of them because they're simple. It's just self-raising flour, butter, egg, and your jam. Got raspberry jam and strawberry jam, take your pick. Could put any jam in there, I suppose. So my new sketchbook arrived as well. Well, it was funny because I'd seen a reel, was it a reel on Instagram, of an artist completed sketchbook, and it looked absolutely gorgeous. And then a friend inboxed me the same video, and I said, oh, it's funny, I've just been watching that. I said, it's gorgeous, isn't it? I said, it's just made me put one of the Moleskine sketchbooks in my basket. So yeah, but when it arrived yesterday, I realised I bought the wrong size, but it's actually really cute. It's like a happy mistake. It's really tight. It's 9 by 14 centimeters, and it's super cute. So it's good for when I've not much time, and I just, you know, when you want to play around with paints but you've not much time, and it's so you can do a really small painting. See, look how tiny it is. If you see the size of this, let me lift you up. If you see, you know the size of the Mouseguard boot, don't you? Obviously this is really tiny. It only fills this teeny tiny corner, and it like fits in my hand. Like, it's like my hand is bigger than it. But yeah, and I did this. How cute is that? But it was just like, it only took me an hour. It literally only took me an hour. So I was like, I actually quite like it. So I think when I've looked today, it's got like stitching on some of the pages. So I think on the pages where it's got stitching, I think I'll do 2 separate paintings, like one here and one here with the tape down the centre. And then the ones that haven't got stitching, so this one hasn't got stitching, I think I'll go across the whole page as like a big landscape on those pages and do it like that, because I don't want to be painting over the stitching just in case it makes it look a bit weird. But how cute. But I have ordered a bigger one as well, just for any bigger projects I want to do. I was like, oh man, it was like £14 for that as well. The bigger one's £18, but yeah, they're worth it. I really like a sketchbook. That's a watercolour one as well, watercolour moleskin sketchbook. So I think because I'm allowing all this to dry now before going in with pencil work, I think we'll start on some of the bring you down and start on some of the little corals, which I'm going to do in like aquas, blues, tones, and then of course we are going to go in with a bit of pencil detailing in later. And I'm thinking it might be too much of a big job, but I was thinking about possibly outlining them in Posca, white Posca, but looking at it, it's really heavily lined, isn't it, in the black? No, it's a bad idea that actually. Maybe I'll just put some little details in with a Posca, like some little dotting detailing or something. So I'm just gonna go in with the teal green, and well, a mix. I'm gonna mix up all these leaves. So some leaves I'm gonna do iris blue, some teal green, and some green aquamarine. This is a really gorgeous colour, green aquamarine. If you're getting any of these pencils single stock, because I don't have the whole collection, I've only got about 40 pencils, something like that. If you get one, get this green aquamarine. It is gorgeous. So I'm just gonna do some this colour and some them colour. But yeah, oh, I give my sister the parrot painting that I did. She was really happy with it. But then her partner's got a African grey, and it was hinting to her, Lindsay, because I'd put a parrot painting that I'd done, I'd put it in a frame, and I took it round to her house, and she was like lifting it up against the wall saying, look, I can put it there. And then her partner said to her, joking, he said, oh, are you waiting for put it up though until I've got my picture of my African grey? You know, hinting, joking. I went, oh, for goodness sake, get me some good reference pictures, because I find parrots challenging because it's feathers. I've always only ever like painted or coloured or drawn like fur, like, you know, on dogs or animals like that. So feathers is a challenge for me. So that parrot annoyed the life out of me, and he's like, oh, come in, paint my African grey. I'm like, oh, well, I won't be doing it straight away because I need a breather. I'll just do a couple of these, then I'll activate a couple, then do some more. So yeah, I've got some reference pictures of an African grey now, which I'll do next month. I've already said I'm not going to do it in a rush because I need a little breather from it. Get that away. It's all snapping all over me, this pencil. Sharpened it too much, that's what it was. So they're good. I find these mindless because when you're initially putting them down, you don't have to think about it looking perfect, because once it's activated, that's when you smooth all your colour out. You don't need to worry too much when you're just putting it down initially. So you can see I'm just mixing up all the colours, putting them wherever, but I'm only using these 3 colours, I think. And then I don't know what colour to do. The mouse Luke is swimming down. He's swimming down to the fish. It's cute, isn't it? I love this book. I love it. I reached out to the artist on Threads, I think it was. He posted something on Threads, and I just put a little comment saying I'd love to see another colouring book from you, and he commented back saying the publishers aren't interested. So that's sad. But he did say he's got a Patreon where he releases colouring pages, but it's paying a fee, isn't it, for a patron? It depends whether that's something you want to do. But it's a shame. I wonder, well, he might not want to. He might have other projects going on, eh? But he could possibly take it to another publisher. Is that something he could do? But he's pretty, like I say, he's probably tied up with other stuff he wants to do. Let's get a green one down here. Pop a green down here. I'm going to activate some of this now, I think, so you can see the colours brought to life. Oh, the brushes I'm using as well, I love these brushes. I'll link them in the description. They're not the cheapest brushes, but I love them. If you do any art as well as colouring, I'd recommend them because they'll be worth it for you. Silver Black Velvet brushes, and this is a 4. Really, really lovely. Really lovely. I think I got the cheapest set because the bigger sizes are really expensive. I got the cheapest set, which is the fine detail brushes, so it was a size 4, 2 and 0, I think, and it was £25. The bigger sizes are shocking. They're like £40 a piece, just for one brush. Oh, look how vibrant these are when they're activated. I will put some shading in, obviously, once it's all dry. That won't be on camera though, because it won't be dry in time for this colouring chat. But yeah, my own little term. Pop some shading over the top of it. Oh, that tap in my bathroom's squeaking again. That is irritating. So whenever someone goes to the toilet and flushes the toilet, oh, someone's made it shut up. They know now what to do. You just push down on the tap and it shuts up. Need to know, is it a new washer or something on the taps? I don't know, something like that. I love that colour. Love that colour. Yeah, so all these will be these 3 colours. All the seaweedy stuff or corally stuff, whatever it's supposed to be. I'm not sure what colour to do these little, they look like little hills under the water. Not quite sure what colour to do those. Possibly see if I've got a paler shade of blue or something. And have everything under the water looking a bit blue and ocean like. Did I activate that one? I can't remember. you. Is anyone else trying something new at the moment? Whether it's a new medium, a new pencil, a new book you've got. Have you been dabbling in any artwork like me? Have you been trying your hand at any art? That's already been activated, hasn't it? I've activated all those now, haven't I? Yeah, has anybody been doing any artwork? Are you feeling inspired? I'm loving it now. Like, even if I think something's not turning out great. It's like that parrot I started. I didn't like how it was leaking, so I just started again. But you can always, you know, sleep on it, wake up with fresh eyes, and see how you feel about it in the morning. Oh, emergency vehicle. There you go. There's been lots of them lately because we've had that much rain. There's been a bit of flooding in some areas, so I believe in our local town there was 4 cars stuck. They tried to go under this bridge that was flooded, and they'd all got stuck in the water. I don't know why people try and drive through it. I really don't. It's like, do you think you're gonna get through? I don't understand. But yeah, so there was fire engines out to lots of cars that got stuck yesterday. I'm just activating them as I do them this time because I'm going to forget which ones I've activated and which ones I haven't. But I find this really mindless with these Derwent Inktense. I do. I find it really, really mindless. Because you can do all this in one sitting and then come back to it either later on at the day when it's all dry, or the next day, even the next day, and then do all your shading over the top. Or if you're brave enough, you can do it all like this that I did here, where you got the blend straight away. Depends how confident you are using them, I suppose. I think I used these colours of Derwent Inktense in the front of a Kirby Roseanne's book. Or was it? No, not the front. It was a fish page in the Kirby Roseanne's book, actually. And then I outlined it all with white gel pen and it looked awesome. But it took me a small lifetime to outline it all. It really did. Oh, does this happen to anybody else as well? Do you know when you dip your brush in the water and then you come back? Do you sometimes not notice that you've got a pool of water dripping down your brush and then it'll just drip onto your page and you're like, no! Well, I did that with my gouache painting yesterday and I was like, no! So I quickly dried my brush off and tried to soak up the excess water what had blobbed on. It's like, oh no. Then I had to go over it. Shocking. Shocking. I do always try to dab it off on my cloth, but you know, there's always that rogue drip dripping down slowly out to get you. Come on, you've done it, haven't you? You've done it. Yeah, so I might finish this page tonight. Depends on how well behaved my children have been at bedtime later, because lately they've been horrific. Do you know, last night though, some of them went to sleep. 2 of them were awake until 11:10. That's what happens in the summer holidays, guys. That's what happens. The routine goes out the window. So yeah, 11:10, and then they were up at 7 AM this morning. It's like, do you not need sleep, you lot? can hear them playing. They're actually playing nice for a second. Don't want to jinx myself, but for now they're playing nice. They was arguing earlier and fighting. Oh, they got all my son's dinosaurs downstairs the other day, and they was playing with them all and going, oh, let's make a Jurassic World. So I put the movie on for them. I put Jurassic World movie on, the first one. Jurassic World, not Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park's a bit scarier. I like Jurassic World, the one with Chris Pratt in it. I love that one. Well, I've watched them all, but I put the first one on for them because it's a bit lighter, isn't it? For the kids. It's not scary. My son just loves dinosaurs. Loves them. They're so bright, these colours though, aren't they? So pigmented when they're activated. Or even just when you put them down normally without activating them. They're quite bright. Let's put this one here. Oh, they're playing Jurassic World again, I just heard them. They're playing Jurassic World again. Let's activate these before I forget which ones they are. Oh, that reminds me as well, when I get off here I need to boot my daughter in for another blood test. She's loving life. She kept complaining of feeling sick and dizzy all the time, and I think it's an anxiety thing because she does suffer with anxiety. She's a bit like me, especially socially. So I think it's that, but obviously when you go to the doctors with a complaint like that, they've got to rule everything else out. So they did her a full blood count just to check for anemia and things like that, and then they wanted her to do another blood test. They said they wanted to double check her vitamin D levels. So she went for another blood test, and then when he rung me up with them results, he said it's coming back as it's a little low on the sodium salts in your body or something like that. He said, is she still feeling sick and dizzy? I said, yeah, she still complains of feeling sick and dizzy. I said, I think it is anxiety, but he said, yeah. He said, I just want to send her for a couple more tests. So he wants to do another blood test for celiac disease, which is obviously, that's a gluten allergy, isn't it? Celiac disease, and he wants to check thyroid levels as well. So it's just to rule everything out, I think, before just putting it down to anxiety, I think. But I do think it's anxiety. I don't think it's any of the other things. But there we go. So I've got to book her in for another blood test. And all the kids are off school now, so that means I have to take all 5 kids with me for her to have this blood test, which isn't the best. And then one of my other daughters is due an eye exam. She wears glasses. She's due an eye test, so I'm going to have to book her in for an eye test. Preferably at the weekend when the dad's off work, so we can stay at home with the rest of the kids. Then my other daughter's got an appointment at the dentist because she attends a different dentist to my other daughters. She goes to one that's, you know, set up for kids with additional needs. They have more patients and more time with them. So she's due that appointment. They all come in the summer holidays and I've got all the kids with me, so rather than just take one kid, you've got like an army of kids going to one appointment, and I'm like, oh, give me strength. It's the worst. Look at this, it's looking quite cute. I could watch fish all day, but they get smelly, don't they? We had fish when we was younger because my mum would never let us get a dog or a rabbit or anything. We wanted guinea pigs at one point. She was like, point blank, no. The only thing she let us get was fish and budgies. A budgie. They're the messiest things going. They just poo everywhere, them budgies. But yeah, fish used to get quite smelly. But they're cute to watch. Very relaxing to watch. Does anyone have fish? I think we possibly, because when we were younger, you never got the advice that you do now, the correct advice about, you know, what to do with the water and stuff when you're keeping fish. But they do now, don't they? They check that you know all about it, and when you go to the pet store. But we never knew, so our fish used to just die straight away. Especially if you brought them back from the fair. Them fish would be floating after a few days. Well, my eldest daughter asked me the other day, she went, can we have a rabbit? I was like, no. I was like, no. I don't have time to look after pets. I really don't. 5 kids are hard enough, and not throwing a pet into the mix yet. Not until they're older. The kids are older. Let's activate those little bits before I forget where they are. You only need the tiniest amount of water as well to activate these Inktense pencils. They're great, I love it. Because the question I get a lot is, do they bleed through? And they don't. You only need a little bit of water and they don't go through. Right, what colour should I put there? Let's put one of these lighter blues here. And up here, let's make all that light blue, why not? So we'll activate this little bit here, and then I think we'll head off, because I've got to go and do something with the kids. I don't know what, maybe go and make them jammy rocks. But it's still early right now, it's about 9 AM at the minute. They wake up early, like I say, they wake up early. Go to bed late and wake up early in the summer holidays. Oh, a bit too much water there, let's suck some of that up. Well, there we go, that's what we've got so far. So I will obviously, because this is just a colouring chart, we'll obviously be doing this one in my own time. You might see it in the finished pages for this month, or you might not, it might remain a whip. I've still got the colour along that we were doing in Rising, if you remember, the peacock feathers that we were doing. Now, unfortunately, because of the noise of the children in the background and I'm being off, I've not had chance to, you know, I can't come on a live stream, because if they start fighting, if my kids start fighting on a live stream, it's not good. It's not good. I'd have to come straight off. And I don't know when I'm going to get to film an actual colour along in it, because obviously if I'm explaining what colours to use and things like that, you want to be able to hear what I'm saying. And obviously screaming children isn't the best. For a colouring chart, it's fine, it's a casual thing, but I don't want them screaming on a colour along, do I? So yeah, I don't know when that video is going to go up, but yeah, we'll see. So I hope you enjoyed watching this little colouring chart and listening to the chitter chatter of children in the background. I will finish this when I have a little minute. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.